videotaping, hoping it works. It works here now. Let's hope it keeps on working today. This is going to be great. Okay, I'll let it run just a little bit and then we'll let you start. I have to try to hold it still anytime.
This is March the 19th, 2008. And we've come down here today to look at this house that I lived in for 8 years because it's going to get torn down because it's just not in good shape.
What years would those have been?
1944 in the summer we moved here until I got married in 1951 that was when I moved out. And we'd lived in Bleats, and my dad worked for the highway and they moved him to Blue Rapids, and so that's the reason we moved to Blue Rapids. And he sold his house in Bleats for $700 and he bought this one for $1,000. And it had a chicken pen and it had a garage he could tinker around in, and I think that's the reason he probably bought it, and then it was close to school for me.
Where was your Bleats house? Was it in town or was it out?
It was in town, and they made it into a post office in later years.
Oh.
You had the post office in there.
Uh-huh.
And then it got torn down too. So, but yeah, that's where I was born there.
And I think this address is 501 Lincoln.
501 Lincoln,
Yeah, all right.
When you go in the front door, it was a double parlor with pillars that would divide it off just kind of on this side of the door. And the people we bought it from was Ray Jones, and they moved to California and sold us the house. And they had blocked that off behind the pillars. So this, on this side, was a living room, and then there's a double door there, and they made a bedroom here and built a closet in. And that's the way we left it. And the woodwork hadn't been painted, it was varnished when we moved in, but over the years, white paint was in style, and so we painted all that woodwork in there at one time. And
what was upstairs on this end?
On this side was a big room. This was one room up here. And then on this north side there was a door and a little storage area that went full length of the room.
Probably with a sloping ceiling under the eaves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, the whole house had sloping ceilings upstairs. And when we first moved here, I picked that room for my room, and the folks had it papered and fixed it up for me. And after I had it, I didn't like it. I thought it was just too big, so I moved around into the north room, and that was my room on the north side. And my folks had a room on the south side. And that was all that was up there, and the stairways kind of went up the middle. And at the bottom of the stairs, there was a door that went into the dining room and a door that went into the front room. And there was just a little like a hallway there. And there's a door to the outside in that hallway. It's on the north side there. There's a door. That's where that door goes. It would just go in and upstairs.
So you could sneak in late at night?
Well, we never used that door.
Oh.
Never did. No, you couldn't sneak in because the stairs really creak. You couldn't. And this had a railing around the front porch. It didn't look like that at all. I can't remember how it looked really, but it had a railing. And I've got pictures of my dad sitting on the porch that I brought.
Oh, good.
I brought a lot of pictures. And let's see, what else? There was a double door into the bedroom, and then straight ahead there was French doors and glass painted French doors. And they went into a little room that we called a sitting room, and it was just a little room that had the floor furnace in there, and my dad kept his rocking chair in there, and the telephone was in there, and a couch, and it was just a real small room. And that's the one I always thought might have been a doctor's office, because they told us that there had been a doctor in this building. I don't know. And then there was another double door with no doors, just an opening to the dining room, and it was on the north side. and it was a good-sized room. The bathroom was in off of that onto the south side. And then
Off of what they turned into a bedroom here? Or off the
On
dining
back,
room towards
off
the
the
back?
dining room,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you want to come around on one side here?
And this other window next to it, that's the little sitting room. We always called it the sitting room. I don't really know why.
This one with the broken window?
Yeah, with a broken window.
This is the bedroom here.
Yeah, this was the bedroom. And you can see how the room slanted because that window was in that bedroom up there.
Oh.
But it just went down on both sides.
Oh.
And then that was a screened-in back porch there. And then the kitchen was on the west end, and a pantry. There's a pantry on the north.
So was this been the kitchen window here, the second
No,
one?
that was a porch, just a screened-in porch.
Right here?
This one here is
Oh,
the
this
bathroom.
was the bathroom window.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was the
Sitting room, okay. Sitting
this was
room,
the
bathroom.
That would have been my folks' bedroom up there. And this door goes down into the basement.
Oh,
You could go down that way. We never did. We always went down inside. We didn't use it very much. But it was there. And that's about all the rooms that there were in it.
mm-hmm. Wonder what these hook things are that stick out.
Well, I think there's
Those are
been
wire spools.
for an
Okay.
antenna.
No, for electrical or telephone.
Oh, probably the telephone, because the telephone's set right here in this corner of this little room.
That's a vent pipe for the sewer line. That big
Yeah.
stack going out of there.
One of the funny things that I thought of that happened was we lived here in town for after Rick was born for several years, and one day my mother called me and she had him up here at the house. He was just a little kid, and she said, "I've got a squirrel in the house." And so I called Gail. He was working down there at your dad's store, and I called him, and he came. And the squirrel had come in somehow through the stool, bathroom stool, which is that little stack right there. Isn't it, Brian? Or that's furnace. Okay, I don't know how he did it, but he come in through the stool some way.
That's a vent pipe.
Whether he fell down the vent pipe or what, I don't know, but he came up through the stool, and Mother had a quilt on. She was quilting, she had it on the frames. And that squirrel got up on that quilt just like it was a what do I want to say, a trampoline.
Yeah.
And he was just a bouncing and a bouncing, and Rick was about 2 years old, and Rick's 55 now. He says he's never forgotten that squirrel. But Gail just opened the door and it went out. It was ready to leave, but it was sure funny because Mother was scared to death, and I didn't think too much of it either. Rick says, "Yeah, I remember that squirrel." But it was really funny. And what else?
Well, I know you have a front porch story. Well,
Yeah,
you had a
I
wedding
have
story.
several of 'em,
Yeah.
Yeah, when after I got married, my husband was in the Army, and I went with him for 2 years, or actually about a year and a half, and then I came home because I was going to have a baby. I was going to have Rick. And so I was here, and he came home, got discharged from the Army 4 days before Rick was born. And
That was good timing.
yeah, I wasn't going to go until he got here anyway, so it was okay. But anyway, we brought Rick back here and lived here with the folks because we didn't have a house or a stick of furniture or a job or anything, And so your dad hollered across the street at Gail, and he said, "Do you want a job? Do you want to learn how to be a meat cutter?" He'd never thought about that, but it was a job. Sure. So he went to work for your dad at the grocery store, and the government paid his training to learn how to be a meat cutter. And Clarence Halligan from Marysville came down, and he's the one that taught him. He'd come down a couple times a week, and they'd go over different things.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so he worked for your dad till he sold that store. But he just hollered across the street at him that morning, "Hey, Gail, you want a job?" So we were thankful for that, because we definitely needed a job, because then we could rent a house and have our own place. Not our own place, but a rented house anyway, and not have to live here, because it was getting kind of. Mother was trying to take care of the baby, and I was the only kid she ever had, and it'd been a long time ago. So, and I didn't know anything, so it worked better after we moved out. He wasn't near as fussy.
Where did you move to?
Well, across from the Presbyterian Church, there used to be a little teeny tiny house there.
Across which direction? West?
South.
South.
No, east. East across the south end of the church. Yeah, on Genesee.
Okay.
On the east side of Genesee, right there on that corner. I don't know who owned that even, but it was one little tiny living room and a little tiny kitchen and a little tiny bathroom. That's all there was there. And we moved in there. We didn't live there very long, but we did live there several months. And we bought a hide-a-bed, so we could sleep on the hide-a-bed, because bedroom, and we didn't have any furniture at all. And that was where we first lived. And then we moved up on 500, well, next to Hetty Savile's house. I can't think what those people's names were, but Chisholm maybe that owned it.
On the north side of Hetty Savile's?
Yeah. We lived there several years. Then we moved clear up there where Wilma Waters used to live before she got her other house. We lived in that house for a while. And then we moved to Marysville. Gail, by that time your dad had sold the store, and so we moved to Marysville, and he worked at the IGA store up there then. But he cut meat clear up till he got sick and couldn't work anymore, because he worked at the drugstore then until it closed, and then he went back down to Downards and started cutting meat again. So your dad got him into an occupation.
Uh-huh.
And the day of the wedding, we were going to have the wedding at the church, Methodist church, and we were going to have the reception at the church, but they were fixing the basement and we couldn't do it. So they decided, well, they'd just have it here. My dad figured somebody'd probably fall through the floors, because the floors never were very sturdy, but nobody did.
And we're talking how many years ago? What year was that?
51. Be 56 years ago now, or something like that. And that afternoon, your mother came over from across the street. Alberta Sutherland came across the street and helped my mother scrub the front porch. And they got the front porch scrubbed. My mother, how so many things going on that day, and it was kind of a hectic day, I guess. She just came over and helped her scrub the porch. So we had a clean porch anyway. We had the reception, and nobody fell through the floor. It all turned out okay. But it was kind of a busy time for us. Mother always had a lot of flowers. You probably remember that.
Well, so did my mom, yeah.
Yeah.
Garden.
And she had a big tiger lily. It stood right in there, but I know it's not there anymore. But I would love to have had that plant, because every year we'd have this big tiger lily, and they're orange, they got black spikes on them, and they're real pretty. Those are those
Surprise lilies.
surprise lilies down there. Yeah, it's coming out. There used to be a big lilac tree right here too, and it always was very pretty. But it's gone too.
And that little tree that stood there beside the walk path out there in the middle of the yard.
Yeah. When we moved, that was a redbud.
Yeah, right there.
When we moved here, those trees were little Dutch elm trees. Just about, one not as big as that one on the parking over there. They were little. Most of them died. There was a whole row of them along there, and the Dutch elm disease took all of them. And those two there, though, they stayed, I guess. But looks like they all need to come down.
Well,
Did you want to walk around the rest of the house? And we had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was Brokenecky's land.
who lived over there?
Brokenecky's
Oh,
hardware
yeah,
store.
yeah.
Yeah, they actually, we just had enough we could, my dad had to mow a couple strips on this side, and that was about it. But we didn't have any more land. That everybody thought that was our lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't. There was a well out there in the middle of that one,
Right there.
underneath
Where
that.
the concrete-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where that concrete. Yeah,
Had
it's
the
still
lilacs planted all around the well.
Brokies had that. They never used it, but it was just there.
Yeah.
That was a garden, and my dad's garden was right out here. Then. He had all that from
About the clothesline back,
yeah, from the end of that coastline right on back,
whole
and then
section
chicken pen was
on the south
that
side.
that south side of the garage was the hen house.
Mhm.
They put siding on it now, and then the chicken pen was where that red trailer is. He always had chickens, had eggs.
Yeah, we
He'd
did
have a half a
too.
dozen chickens. My dad fixed this one.
Yeah. Looks like a
Kids used
swing
to
branch to me.
They used to come
Yeah.
down here and stay with them, you know, and everything. That brick walkway. And
Tap
I'd
on.
like to dig the bricks up. I can't. Some of those had names on them. You know, names of the company.
We looked them over pretty good at when we had the sale.
I bet you did, because if they had any names, you guys
Looking
probably
for-
dug
Well,
them
but
up.
if you didn't turn them over, you wouldn't know what was on the
Well, I
underneath
think
side.
Daddy had them with the name up.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, if there was a
But he always could make something out of something, you know, always.
All right.
Well, they put a fancy door in there, didn't they?
So there was just a single door in there, and you said that went into the basement.
No,
No?
that door there is
Oh.
the one that goes to the stairway.
Okay. The
Oh,
stairway.
This went into the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Can
But
you?
all that was there was just a single door.
That's where the washing
That's
machine's
the
at.
pantry now. That's the pantry window there. This looks like a good door,
The
but
RW.
who's
Can't read
that?
the rest of it.
Gala's. I've been in that sunshine long enough. I can't. Everybody's. You guys, it's all your initials.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was his there.
Yeah. RW.
RW.
He put his in this way.
Well, he was probably sitting down there when he
Probably
did it.
sitting there when he did it. Yeah.
I remember when he put the extension on that.
Well, yeah, and it
step.
didn't stay. It didn't. He found out you can't put new cement on old cement and make it stick.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Still there, but
Yeah.
it cracked. It was, I guess. We never used it or never had it as a cistern, but